Hi, welcome back to Ironwood Health and Fitness, my quarantine facility. I get asked some common questions about squats. There's a lot of different variations, and the most common question is, where should my feet be? How deep should I squat? What should my posture be? And it's very simple. The feet and knees and hips and ankles, those joints, it all depends on you, how far apart your feet are, how they're pointing out, what's comfortable for you, and what are you trying to accomplish. But I want to start with posture. And one of my favorite tools for working on posture is a dowel. It's readily available, it's inexpensive, it's effective. So when we look at posture, I want to look for three things, especially when we talk about spinal posture, from our neck down to our tailbone. Notice right now I have 3 points of contact. Back of my head, between my shoulder blades, and my tailbone. Our spine makes an S when it's healthy. From this position, from a spine neutral position, or spinal neutral, I can rotate around, I can flex my spine, I can extend my spine, but when I go to do a heavy movement, I want to make sure that I do my best to maintain spinal neutral. So that means 3 points of contact. If I bend over into, let's say, an RDL position or a good morning, I go into a squat, I go into a lunge, I'm making sure that I'm at spinal neutral. For the hips, knees, and ankles, we want to make sure that we're comfortable. If we're doing a squat of any sort, could be a Zercher squat, front squat, zombie squat, overhead, high back, low back, whatever. What's important for us is that our hips, knees, and ankles move simultaneously. So my hips, knees, and ankles are going to flex and are going to extend. Flex, extend. If I'm doing a Romanian deadlift, the primary mover is going to be my hips. So my hips are going to flex. I'm going to get slight flexion here, meaning when I say flexion, the joint angle is going to decrease. When I go into a hip hinge, which is what an RDL is, or good morning, my ankle joint is not changing. So let's go back to squat. Hips, knees, and ankle move simultaneously. I don't care how far you get. I don't care how far you get. You could get to here, you could get to here. If you're doing it comfortably, that's what matters to me. Okay? Because from here, I can go overhead, I can go onto the back, and I'm still using these three joints simultaneously. When it comes to foot position, the way that our thigh rests in our hip socket, it's like this, and everybody's built different. Whether you've adapted over time to a sport, whether you've injured one side or the other, we're all gonna move different. So if somebody says your squat looks bad, ask them why. Why does my squat look bad? Well, because it doesn't look right, it doesn't look like a textbook. A textbook is a textbook. You're not a textbook. I care that you move comfortably. If you feel restriction in a certain area, let's talk about that restriction. If I go down to right about here and I feel restricted from going down because my knees are not moving forward because my ankles or my knees or my hips are preventing me from going any lower, let's talk about why that is. If I can get down to the bottom, but I can't get up, maybe I've gone too low strength-wise for my current level of being able to squat. We can make it stronger. The feet out, again, going back to the hips, everybody's built different. If I go out like this, my feet are pointed slightly far out, and I squat, this feels much different than if I squat right here. But for me, neither feel bad, because I stand here and I practice in front of you before I actually turn on the camera. And I also warm up. But when I'm watching someone squat, I don't just look at their ankles, knees, and hips. I look at how their feet are interacting with the ground. I look at how their head is interacting with their torso, how their eyes are interacting with their feet. Do they have to actually see what they're doing in order to perform it? So here's my main takeaway for today. Get yourself a dowel. See if you can hit those 3 points of contact. See if you can move around maintaining those 3 points of contact. Then, be mindful of your movements. Are you restricted in any of your movements that you do with the dowel? Play with it. Life should be fun. Your body likes to move. My body likes to move. Reminds me, maybe I should learn a routine putting on the Ritz or something. The next thing that we're going to talk about later on is we're going to introduce different squats. Like if we do an overhead squat, or we do a high back squat, we do a low back squat, we do a zombie squat, where the bar is rest here, or a front squat, or a Zercher squat. The upper body is going to behave differently based on where your implement is. We'll talk about that later on. But for right now, get yourself a dowel, start moving, find your 3 points of contact, and have some fun. Have some fun. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, ask questions. I'm here.